So, a couple of days ago, Luka Doncic basically inked in what was a 3-year extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the contract in itself is worth $165 million, paying about $50 million in the first year, $54 in the second, and $58 in the third. But the key thing is the third year, because at that point, it's a player option, which everyone knows Luka Doncic will reject, because at that point, he will be able to get the max contract he wants from the Lakers, which will pay him approximately over $400 million over 5 years. And from what I've heard, this will let him recoup all the money he lost through leaving Dallas. Now, as that's the new thing, I figured we'd quickly go over what this new extension means for both Luka and the Lakers as a whole. So hey, let's get straight into it. But before we do, a lot of you are new to the channel, so do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn post notifications on, because we do post regularly and we are trying to get to 100 subs before the end of this month. And if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more content like this, hit that like button. We're trying to get at least 10 on this video, because hey, that way we know you enjoyed the content and we keep getting more out to you. But what to do, YouTube? It's your boy Alvin Mike from L.T.A. and in today's video, we are discussing what Luka Doncic's contract extension means for the Lakers' future. And to start off with, we're going to discuss the organization. The major pro for them in this is, by signing Luka, the Lakers have basically solidified that they'll have a superstar within the organization for at least the next 3 years, but at least the next 7 if you think about it, because after the 2-year stint, he's going to decline the player option and basically move into the 5-year contract, which might have an option on the 5th year, but either way, they've guaranteed that for at least the next 6 years minimum, they have a superstar in L.A., which is needed because, again, they are one of the highest grossing teams in the league. Actually, they are the most popular team in the league. So it makes sense for them to have a superstar, because it firstly means a lot in sales, revenue, and he's a major draw to the arena, which is what they need. Because, yeah, if you were watching basketball in the early 2010s when Kobe got injured, son, it was bad watching things like Nick Young and them really be the players on the floor. So I'm happy to see that they got a superstar. That's the major pro. Now, the con is obviously in his 3rd year, there is the player option, which he is most likely to reject. And when he signs onto that 5-year max, that's going to be tying up a lot of money for the team. But again, they still will have a lot of cap room in regards to what they're able to get. But the question is, what can you surround him with how much money you're going to have to dedicate towards him? Overall, I see this as a pro. But again, you have to look at it from the perspective of, does the organization care more about having a superstar in sales, or is the organization focused on winning, in which case we'll find out by how to spread the money. The next part we need to discuss is, of course, the king, LeBron James. Now, with Luka signing this contract, this signifies something we all already knew, which is Luka Doncic is going to be the face of the Los Angeles Lakers, which means, of course, LeBron's going to shift to number 2. I mean, prior to the contract, we already partially knew this with the fact that Luka's basically building the team how he wants, having recruited both DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart, which is something we usually see LeBron doing that in the offseason. He's usually the person bringing players in based off of how he wants to play, but Luka's the one leading that charge. But that also signifies another thing for the king, which is he's most likely going to retire in the next 2 years, because it makes no sense for him to be number 2 and them to keep him with the salary he's going to require, because obviously he has executed his player option for this season. So I expect we're going to see the same thing we saw with Kobe, where it's a small-term contract after this one, and then after that, it's just him walking off into the sunset. Now, the con for him in this is that with Luka being the face of the team, as I said, we should expect the Lakers to move on from LeBron within the next 2 years, which also partially means, not to call out nepotism, but Bronny, you better show up in the next 2, because if you don't, Daddy ain't gonna be there to save you. So the major con for LeBron is he loses the leverage and power he has always seen to have on a team. So for the first time in his career, he really is gonna have to fight for his, not even fight for his position, because he technically doesn't need it. The man could retire when he wants to, but fight for his son's position, because yeah, that's what we really need. Now for the rest of the team, who's the next topic of discussion, this is a pro if you're a 3-and-D guy, a lob threat, or a guy who focuses on defense, because first off, Luka's main weak point is on the defensive side of the ball, in which case, if you're one of those guys who really knows how to lock up and you have length and athleticism to you, you will strive in this system, because the system's going to be run the ball through Luka and everybody else just basically support, which the main form of support is going to be on the defensive end. When it comes to the offense, the reason I say the 3-and-D guys are really going to succeed is, again, Luka's main offense is one-on-one and then swinging it out when he gets double-teamed or trapped. So if you're 3-and-D, it makes a lot of sense that you will love being on the floor with him. And being a lob threat, as we know, a bunch of Luka's assists come from the ability of running off a pick and roll and basically throwing a lob to the big man who usually tends to be athletic. Now, the other people that I see thriving from this is guys who are scorers coming off the bench because, again, when Luka's off the floor, they're going to need scorers on the floor. So it's a perfect system for you. Cons? The main guy who I see who will have a con with this whole new era is Austin Reeves. Because I know at the current moment, JJ Redick and the Laker organization thinks this little system of having Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic on the same team where Austin Reeves holds the ball the most so that it seems like, oh, there's no battle between superstars so the ball will work. But long run, that ain't going to work. And Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic playing together, it's good on paper, it's bad in result. Just because, again, Austin Reeves is a guy who needs the ball a little bit in order to get his buckets. And if Luka's on the floor, it's going to turn him more into a 3. And hopefully he can play D-type guy, which is not his game plan, which is why I see this contract extension as a con for him. I mean, the Lakers will most likely pay him a little bit of change after this season. But again, I don't know if he wants to... Me personally, if I was a player like him, now it's a thing of what do you want, the money? Or do you want to play in a way whereby you really showcase your ability? In which case, that won't be with L.A. because again, a system that's mainly based around running through one player doesn't work if there's a second guy on the floor who also needs the ball. Now, for the fan base, aka the city of LA, I do gotta say, rejoice when it comes to the pro side because you guys have somehow landed, I say somehow, we know somehow, you've landed another generational talent. It's been so long since you guys have gone without one, which kind of makes me sick, but you've landed yourselves another generational talent. So I'd be happy. At least you know you can show up to games and you'll have a guy who basically kills it for you in every way you want. Because, yeah, as I said before, them early 2010s when Kobe got injured and we had to witness the Nick Young and boys go out here and basically stink up the joint with Jordan Hill and co., it wasn't exactly fun basketball to watch, so I'm happy for you guys. As a Heat fan, I'm not really happy for you, but I'm going to lie for the sake of YouTube. On the con side of things, the generational superstar has an issue with discipline. The reason I say this is last year, September, there were pictures of Luka Doncic in the offseason where we saw he had lost a significant amount of weight, came into the preseason, suffered a calf injury, and then put 50 pounds back on and basically attempted to lose it through playing basketball throughout the year. That's an episode of how his discipline slacks. Also, the thing of drinking beers after games, like, he has a discipline issue when it comes to sticking to certain things, and then on the floor, it's the whole thing of defense and playing off the ball where his two main issues arise, and that's why I gotta say, you're suffering from the fact that he's generationally talented, but how strong is his discipline in regards to doing the things that he needs to do? I guess we'll find out throughout the season. And lastly, but not least for Luka, there's only one thing to say pros-wise, which is the man's getting paid. That's it. He's getting paid big money. 50 mil a year type money, which is insane. The con is the city of LA has known to be cruel towards players who don't live up to the potential. By that, I mean, think of every type of generational superstar that has ever touched LA and think to yourself whether they've never won a ring. If we go back slowly, LeBron won a ring. Kobe won a bunch of them. I'm not going to call Powell a generational superstar, but he is a superstar. He won. Shaq and Kobe won. Like, Magic won. Kareem won. Wilt won. It's a thing of, if you go back into it, Luka Doncic, as much as the Lakers will make him and showcase him in a way that we won't see from the likes of other superstars and small franchises, he will suffer from the sheer fact that the Laker organization is known to be cruel if you don't win. So I know he has a tendency of winning whereby he literally goes and torches every defense that's put in front of him, but he needs to adapt the same thing LeBron adapted of being able to get all your teammates involved because, yeah, to win an entire championship, you either need to get your whole team involved or do the Boston thing and just have everybody be 3-and-D with the ability to go one-on-one when they need to. Because Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Drew Holiday could all go one-on-one when they really needed to. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, which if you did, don't forget to do me a favor, go and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn post notifications on. Down below in the comments, let me know, do you think that Luka Doncic signing this extension is a good thing or a bad thing for LA? Because obviously it is a short-term deal, which obviously means if you really want to, you can move on from him. But at the same time, it's also a sign that you guys want him in the long run. But yeah, I'll catch you in a bit. Deuces.